Hey guys, it's Kristen again. Last night I got another question. It was from Anon. So if you guys actually send in questions, I'll link your question, or I'll link your URL to the video so you get credit for your question. I look like a mess because I just got back from practice. But the Anon's question says, I don't know if you're still doing the video things, which I am. But if you are, what does cross country and track mean to you? And I actually, like summer going into freshman year, I got in contact with the cross country coach because I just wanted to get in shape for soccer. And honestly, I thought, oh, how hard can running 3 miles be? Yeah, harder than anything else. When I first started out, I couldn't even run half a mile without stopping. And now, you know, we have like 10 to 12 mile runs, so it's pretty cool to see the progression. But I guess like at first it really didn't mean much. I really didn't, you know, soccer was my #1 priority. And then at that time I already had my boyfriend. He was 6 months at the time, so I had other priorities. And freshman year, whenever I was sleeping, I felt like there was like this weird like my arm would go tingly, like numb, like you hit your funny bone, and my arm would turn purple. When I was sleeping, it would do that. And then that happened when I was running too. I actually had to drop out of my first cross country race because it was hurting so bad. It felt like I hit my funny bone, and it was really bad. And actually, I just went to a fast track doctor, and within 5 minutes, he diagnosed it because a doctor friend of his does surgeries for it. It's called thoracic outlet syndrome, and it's like carpal tunnel syndrome in your hand, but it's for your entire arm. You have your collarbone and your first rib, and between that runs your scalene muscle, and you have nerves and blood vessels going down to your arm, and the muscle actually built up and it pinched off everything going to my arm. Male bodybuilders get it, and I was a 15-year-old girl, so it was really weird. So they actually took out my scalene muscle, shaved down my collarbone, and took out my first rib. So, but it's all better now. So, but I had to get that surgery, and that was in February. I had to get it, end of February, I had to get the surgery for it. So, also at that time, my boyfriend of almost a year at that point, we'd broken up, and so I was left with, you know, all of that. And then typically how I cope with stuff is running, but I couldn't run because it was just so painful, and the doctor told me not to. And I didn't realize that I actually really loved running until I didn't even care. I was just, you know, the surgery was scaring me because, you know, it was a 4-hour surgery. I had never gone through surgery before. So I went from my house, and I just took off. And I went 5 miles before I stopped, and I just sat down and cried. And I was on a trail. I ran from my house to a trail. And my mom knew the route that I took, and she biked it, and she found me crying. Because at that point, you know, I realized, like, I had lost all my friends at that point too, because like a typical high school girl, I dropped all my friends for my boyfriend. And I realized at that point, like, everything else in my life can walk out, but I will always still have running. And that's when I truly knew that I loved running more so than anything else. So, I got my surgery or whatever, and, you know, as soon as I could, I started running again. Sophomore year, I'm trying to think what happened sophomore year. I couldn't do a lot of my races. I had mono sophomore year. My boyfriend and I, at that time, we had gone back together, so we were going out for like a year and a half at that point. So I still lost focus again. And I was playing high school soccer as well, and club soccer on top of that. And I couldn't really finish the season because of the mono. And then January, I had to get my appendix taken out. So that's when I was going to do pole vaulting both years, but I couldn't because of surgeries. So, but then February, at that point, February, so this was like almost a year ago, my boyfriend, he was 2 years at the time, we broke up. It was done. I made sure that was done. And, you know, I had just quit soccer because I wanted to focus on cross country. So I had just all this openness, you know, like just this feeling where I could do anything. And I just put everything I had into running. I ran local 5Ks. I just kept running and running. And I then had found out that I was going to be captain of the cross country team alongside of our number one runner girl, and she's a good friend of mine. So that was just a pretty cool feeling to know that as juniors we would both be captains. And we went to running camps, and it was just so much fun, and my summer was consumed with running and running camps and stuff like that. It was just, running became my life. And so junior year, my season, I got so much better because I focused everything into running. And then in December recently, I just started pole vaulting, and my first meet was 2 weeks after I just started, and I cleared 6'6", just because I was so determined to get good at pole vaulting because I couldn't do it for 2 years. So that's where the track comes into play too. I'm pole vaulting for track, and then they want me to run the 2 mile, but I think 8 laps around a track is just so boring, so I think I'm just going to go with a mile. And I might even run the 400 actually, because I kind of like the 400. So I guess with that long story, cross country and track mean everything to me. It's how I plan on going to college, because I plan on running for college. I've had, like, you know, a lot of other struggles with life. I've had lots of people who are very close to walked out, or, you know, friends moved and stuff like that. So just, I guess the fact that I couldn't really control other people leaving my life, but I could control running, and that would always just be mine. That's what made it really special to me. The fact that it's just made me such a strong person. I don't know if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys would know that I've mentioned I've struggled with depression and suicide in the past. And I can honestly say that if it wasn't for cross country and running, I probably wouldn't be here today, because it's strengthened me as a person. And yeah, so if you guys have any more questions or just want to submit stuff, just say, hey, could you do a video about this? And I probably will as soon as I can. And I'll link your thing in it so you get credit for it too. And yep, bye guys.